So hi everyone, I'm Apurva. I'm from Simple Machines. So we are a software consultancy and we mostly work on data-led products. And we have a few team members from Simple Machines as well. So come and say hi after part 2. So today I'm going to talk about Ktor. So I know we have had some nice presentations where people have touched upon HTTP 4K. People have talked about Android, Kotlin and Android, etc. So this is just another framework. And to give a bit of background, so I started my career as an Android engineer, did with a bit of Java, and then quickly moved down to iOS with Swift. Then I was a bit bored of mobile development. No offense, I know that. So I thought I wanted to do backend, and what would be the easiest way for me to do backend? And I thought okay, Kotlin is a language that is very similar to Swift, so maybe I should try something there. And then we had a setup in our company with Spring and Kotlin, so I'm okay, very similar to Swift, very easy to get onboarded. But I was kind of stuck with a lot of backendiness of Spring. So I need to understand what is this auto-wire, what is all these annotations. So it didn't feel very natural. So and then when I would talk to Android guys, they would say, oh, we used coroutine here, there. And I'm I feel we are not really using the power of Kotlin in Spring. And it didn't feel very natural. Although Spring had a lot of good built-in functionalities, very easy to onboard, etc., a lot of documentation. But still, I was not very happy that, coroutines are not coming very naturally. So then I joined Simple Machines, and they were using Ktor. And it was the fastest onboarding because all I needed to know was Kotlin. So I never felt if I'm making a backend application, am I making a library, I'm making an Android application without that, I don't know, the UI layer, and which always runs on main thread. So it felt very natural, and I feel so whenever someone is starting a new project, they really need to, okay, most of the people are handed over with Spring, and you have to just get on with it. But if you are really starting a new project, I would definitely ask you to consider your options, and I think Ktor is a good one. So let's talk a bit about what differences I have felt between Ktor and Spring. So just some snippets from our code base. So this service is very Kotlin, okay, you have variables, you're passing some functions, etc. But in Spring, it would be full of annotations. You would need to make sure that dependency injection is working well, etc., etc. And it would not feel like I can't even tell if it's a backend code or a front-end code or anything. Same with creating routes. Instead of having all those controller and etc., very springy stuff, you have very thin layer to create those routes, and very intuitive and very native to Kotlin. This is an example that I feel with Spring you have a lot of baggage, so it feels okay, I don't know, I'm traveling to Prague today, and I don't know what I will need in Prague, so maybe I should pack everything. Maybe I should pack my sunglasses, maybe I should put a sweater, I don't know, anything. So I take a big suitcase, then I have to wait, check it in, or then go to the security, blah, 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 just slows me down. Whereas, okay, I'm going to Prague, I have money, I'll just go buy something in Zara. So I'm just gonna pack very thin things, pass through security very quickly, and that's what I felt. Kotlin is Ktor with Kotlin is you pack what you need, and it gives you what you want. So instead of carrying all those baggage, and with minimal footprint, you can get a very performant, simplified application. Again, some examples of how natural it felt to use Kotlin for backend. So this is an example of how we are integrating with a database layer. So very simple, create an interface, a very simple layer to just talk to a repository. Then, um, then a bit like, like everything is like a proper suspended function, like in a very coroutine way. Yeah, so again, like some other positives that I felt was like how simple Ktor was and how modular it can be and how easy it was just to set up and configure. And the best thing is the size. Wow, like the size is just so small and you only have like very little things like that you need to set up and then you can get on and create your application. So this is like it talking to the database where it's very easy. So we use a library called exposed, and then from there it's very easy to just get things from the database or even put things in the database. So again, so that's Spring, and that's Ktor. So with Spring, I feel like I've been handed over this kitchen with a lot of equipments. Yeah, I know, like, oh, there's a microwave, there's a fancy oven. Maybe I can make something out of it, but I don't know. Like, I really have to first understand how everything operates. Whereas here, it's me building my own kitchen. Okay, so I need some pots, I need some, I don't know, I need a dishwasher, I need to buy rice, and slowly I'm building only what I need. So it's a very minimalistic but beautiful application. Then again, like just saying, showing some example of like how easy it is also to use co-test for testing. So you don't have to like auto-wire a lot of stuff for your tests like you do usually in Spring. And this is a bit of extravaganza that we use for Ktor. So just if someone wants to build an application, so we use Exposed. It's quite compatible with it. Flyway is working great for us. Postgres, Kafka, OK, HTTP, it's all working great. I think one also positive thing that I figured out about Ktor was how easy it was to use it as a jar. So if you want to reuse your code for like your data engineering or anything where you need a bit of compatibility with other languages, other JVM, it was quite easy to just use your backend application code as a library. So yeah, with that, I would say like if you don't mind a lot of overhead and you want built-in tool, you're like, okay, it might be an overkill, but I know it works. I will go with Spring. But if you just want to get on, create a nice, simple, performant application, go with Ktor. Thank you. Any questions? So I think I can't remember a lot of them like back of my head because we don't need a lot of them with Ktor. But I think usually we are using like a bunch of things with Gradle and like plugins are I think I don't know. Luke, do you recall like some plugins that we are using with Ktor?
good. And I sort of like the discussions with another developer, and he was saying, "Oh, you could do a lot of HTTP at the end of it. You could use it, you could do that." But I just find it was just at the lower level. You could use it everywhere. Yeah, that's what I find useful.
I'm curious to know, did the switch from Spring to Ktor impact your build time at all, or running tests?
We have not migrated. So I worked on a Spring application, which was like Spring from the beginning, and then Ktor, which was Ktor from the beginning. But definitely, it would be comparing apple to oranges. But I do feel like Ktor is like really powerful and fast. So basically, I think usually, like I've noticed, like build times in Spring was way longer. Even if I'm running like a simple integration test or unit test to get it cracking was quite, it took a while, but I think with Ktor, it was like, it would spin up very quickly because it uses less memory, so it would spin up much quicker than what I've noticed in Spring with all the abstraction layer going on behind the scenes. So I think we're using like very simple dependency injections, but I think Coin and other things also like work well. But for us, I think with our needs, like it's quite simple, just passing like creating services and then passing it down the line as you need it. So it gives us a bit more control and visibility of exactly how our application is built up rather than not knowing behind the scenes where things are going. So it gave us a bit more control over things. Sorry?
I have a question, maybe a bit controversial. That you have at the moment, in comparison to Spring that you were using, I would miss this thing. Maybe this big fancy kitchen is something. I would like to have something which I can't do, or some stuff in front of me.
Honestly, to be very honest, I don't miss Spring at all. I think I have felt that like when I started building iOS application from Android, I'm like, oh, this thing was very good in Android. This thing is not so good in iOS. This thing was good in Swift, not so good in Kotlin. This thing is good in Kotlin. But I think with Spring, maybe, I don't know, like transactional things were better. Like it was easy to build a bank with it because everybody build bank with Spring. But I don't know, I have never missed it after I started using Ktor. Yeah. Okay, thank you.